Welcome viewers. I am Professor S. Jeevan Chandra, Department of Microbiology from Chaitanya Deep University, Varangal. Today I would like to discuss about plant disease resistance. Disease resistance is a phenomenon where a host can show resistance towards an invading pathogen. This is a kind of physiological and molecular output shown by animals and plant also. As we know that animals can resist the invading pathogens, but how plant can behave in encounter the pathogens. Such a way, this is a most important protective mechanism exhibited by plants. Plants protect themselves from invading pathogens in order to overcome from the diseases and threats posed by pathogens. It is a warfare between a pathogen as well as the host plant. As like animals, plants can also overcome the diseases by fighting with the invading plant pathogens. In order to understand plant disease resistance, it requires multidisciplinary approach to understand the plant disease resistance. Coming to the plant disease and environmental factors, how they are going to be interacting with each other. These all are called as plant disease triangle. This plant disease triangle is a phenomenon and a concept which discuss about how environment will dictating the pathogen and host to survive and fight with each other, because all plants and animals are now present in the environment. Environment itself will provide all the essential commodities which are help for the sustenance as well as the development and establishment of the host system. At the same time, pathogens also present in the environment also. So first one and most important thing is pathogenic factors. So pathogen associated factors are most important. Which type of microorganism it is and how the particular species and what is the cultivar of the plant going to be attacked, that is most important thing. Coming to second factor, that is called host factor. How host is very strong and what are the molecular patterns and the other events which are associated to become a host susceptible for a particular disease. Such a way, variety of pathogens and variety of hosts are like that, they are going to undergo susceptible conditions. Coming to environmental conditions. Finally, environment is a guiding factor that will going to affect in dual direction. So that means environment is a master that could control the pathogen as well as the host, including temperature and humidity and availability of nutrients and other agroadapic conditions. These all are directly proportional to how best host is survived on the planet. At the same time, pathogen also experiencing same type of environmental factors. If both components are dictated by the environment, some pathogens become more virulent, some hosts become more susceptible. Only in the susceptible host only the pathogen can produce the observable symptoms. Such a way, host and pathogen interactions are most useful to predict the condition of the environment. Coming to plant disease resistance, it is a character and one of the new concept where the war between host plant and pathogen going in a different manner. Bacteria, viruses, fungi and plants also evolving with the changing scenario of environment, changing scenario of pathogens. So disease resistance is a character of a host possessed towards invading pathogen to overcome the disease. At the same time, it is the simplest means of condition where a host can show the disease resistance. Coming to most important things like bacteria and viruses and fungi and insects also going to undergoes disease by different various mechanisms. So creating new ways to overcome with new disease resistance, these strategies will give you a complete picture of the war between plant and pathogens. Coming to resistance, it is a molecular foundation. It has a molecular foundation where we have to learn more about how these plant materials are going to be interfering with each other, and gene for gene interaction is also there, how genes are going to activate it, what are the molecular signature present in the tissues, as well as the contact mediated molecular identification, and this also give you a complete picture of how do plants enter the host plant. So these some interesting points to remember. We know that for a successful entry, each pathogen has to breach the barriers. For that purpose, they need a contact. The contact is governed by molecular signature identification. That means molecular patterns present on the pathogen are easily identified by the host-specific ligands and host-resided receptors. So microbes are also passively distributed by wind and splashing rains or insect vectors. So they are passively carried by the air and they are going to be hoarded on a particular leaf system. After launching, these microbes are going to identify whether they are non-pathogenic or they have the capacity to induce disease. How do pathogens can enter the host? By different mechanisms. However, pathogens have a variety of mechanisms to enter the plant system. For that purpose, they use different mechanical breaching effect. They enter through natural wounds. Either they can penetrate the tissues by directly, for example, insect vector. These are going to be directly enter into the plant tissues. Coming to the most important thing, where pathogen and host are going to be present in a court, that is called infection court, where both are going to be indiscriminated and they are checking for their capacity. If host is very strong, there is no disease. If host is very susceptible, there is the disease. That means finally pathogen will win the game. Towards the infection court, if you understand the molecular and mechanisms of establishment, then we can design a molecular strategy to overcome the diseases. Coming to a general picturized concept of microbial passive transmission from air and water and dust. So these dust particles are become aerosols. After aerosolization, small droplets are exist in the clouds. Now precipitation results in the rain. Rain also carries a microorganism by various mechanisms, and these air droplets going to be carrying the microorganisms from one place to another place. So these microorganisms are going to be lodging on the plant leaf system, and they are also checking for the avenues like natural openings like stomata and wounds and from other resources. They are also going to enter into the plant system. After a particular time, they are going to produce the observable symptoms. So finally, again, the microorganism infecting and flourishing inside the host, finally that leads to second crop damage, and finally again inoculum also available in the nature. Plant immune system. Plant immune system also one of the most important system that will going to identify the invading pathogen. It requires two detecting systems. First one is pattern detection. Molecular arrangement of pathogen can be identified based on the pattern expressed on the pathogen. These are called pathogen associated molecules. They are becoming the ligands. And other classes of plant associated receptor proteins. These receptor proteins are going to identify the incoming pathogen variety. So once the pathogen molecule and plant receptor get bind together, they will down regulate the sensing molecule that is called effector, from outside to inside the cell. Now within the inside the plant cell, now these molecule going to sense and carry the information from outside to inside. Now genes are getting activated. These type of molecules are called relay signal molecules, signal sensing molecules. And after effective signal delivery, signals are get received in the nucleus and responded genes, and they are going to be activated. Their products are called antimicrobial components. These antimicrobial components will dictate the cell to encounter the pathogen in an effective manner to control the pathogen. Another kind of activity, these plant cells will also trigger activation of neighbor cells in order to minimize the damage by host. Next, there are two kinds of immune strategies are there. First one is called effector triggered immunity and pattern triggered immunity. Effector triggered immunity means typically an activated molecules from the pathogen called an effector, a signal relaying molecule which triggers the strong antimicrobial response by activating the R genes. R, capital R stands for resistant genes. Their products and proteins involving immune strategy. In addition to these two triggered immunities, especially pattern triggered immunity and effector triggered immunity, another kind of immunity is also there, that is called damage associated compounds. Damage associated pattern called DAM. Such molecules and their products which are released after damage also dictate the cell to provide the immune status. Coming to the strategies, how host plant can define. This diagrammatic flow information will give you a perfect picture. First stage, pathogen is present. This can be either rejected based on the pre-formed defense barriers. Those defense barriers are already existing on the plant, like surface, waxy cuticle, and antimicrobial compounds present in the leaf itself. These molecules automatically rejecting the pathogen. If a pathogen can able to resist this type of barriers, then it going to induce the pathogen recognition. Defense induced by pathogen recognition. Pathogen recognition purpose, the most virulent pathogen is very dangerous pathogen going to changing its molecular pattern. That pattern is readily identified by the host. Now what happens? It is going to give you two options for the pathogen, either pattern triggered immunity or effector triggered immunity. In case of common pathogens, it is a recognition process. A scanning process is there. This is called recognition of conserved structures and patterns of pathogens, called PAMPS, pathogen associated molecular patterns. This is correctly known as pattern triggered immune strategy. After that recognition, the host system recognizes it is a foreign body which is going to be invading. Now effector molecules will be synthesized. This effector molecule will dictating the genes and recognition of pathogen effector that contributing for the R gene protein production. Now we can assume the effector triggered immunity. Such a way, finally effector triggered immunity going to control the R gene product. Finally, after R gene product delivery, these R genes are going to control in the invading pathogen. Such a way, first step is recognition, second step process, third step effector delivery, and fourth step R gene product, and fifth step memorization and inheritance of the entire process. But finally what happens, the fifth step is not there. Generally, memorization and transfer of this activity not present effectively. That's why many plants are experiencing difficulty to overcome the pathogens. Coming to the next event, what happened in triggered immunity, pattern triggered immunity, conserved molecules, that means these molecules no more changes, they are present on the multiple pathogen genera, they are referred to as PAMPs and microbial associated molecular patterns. These are going to be very conserved, very unique in nature. Based on these unique chemical pattern, we can also distinguish different types of invading pathogens. So these defense induced by MAMPs or PAMPs are perception of sufficient to repel the most pathogens, that is called first line defense. So what happens in immune system, in the plant system, generally they are going to repel the incoming pathogens based on the pattern recognition. If pattern is already known one, that can easily repels the pathogen. If it is a novel one, it is an unknown one, it is unable to identify the invading pathogen, the host is somewhat confused. Now pathogen will win the game, disease will be resulted. Coming to effector triggered molecule. Effector is an activated molecule secreted by pathogen. This effector pathogen going to activating the R genes. Now activated R genes are the specific molecules going to effectively control the invading pathogens by inducing hypersensitive response. Hypersensitive response, the cells undergoes self-suicide, programmed cell death. The infected cells are getting died. Due to this reason, disease spread can be controlled very easily. Coming to the next strategy, how these systems are going to controlling the pathogens in a most meaningful manner. This diagram will give you a complete picture about pathogen recognition and effector molecule propagation. First, bacteria, most bacteria, beta glucans are acting as a ligands, and a toll-like receptor A class will going to be identify the beta glucans present on the bacteria. So they down regulating the signals, and various gene products can be now accumulated in the inside cell to encounter the bacteria. In case of fungi, N-acetyl glucosamine and mannose receptors and fucose carbohydrate receptors are acting as a ligand, and toll-like receptors are going to be activated. Coming to parasites like insects and other worms, there is a monosodium citrate acting as a ligand that is going to activating the C type of toll-like receptors, now down regulating the signals. Coming to the self antigens like self plant systems, they ligands are most favorably galactose acting as a chemical receptor. Now toll-like receptors are getting activated. And coming to viruses, viruses requires high mannose, high fucose acting as a ligands. Now their receptors are toll-like receptors, they are getting activated inside the cell. Finally, these all are going to controlling the ITAM and ITIM interdependent signal transduction strategies are takes place. These are the most important salient events. What are the R genes? Generally, resistant genes are called R genes. There are more than 600 variety types of R genes, and their homologs have been identified here. These all are contributing to plant resistance. So such type of genes are called resistance genes, whose products are very important. They carry out the resistance event. Resistance is the state of protection exhibited by host against invading viruses, bacteria, oomycetes and fungi and nematodes. So in the evolutionary mode, pathogen is changing. Changed pathogen can be easily identified. An effective mechanism can be molded, and that can be easily controlled by means of R gene products. What are the R gene and their proteins? These all are, most of them are very specific in nature. They recognize a special type of pathogen, so pathogens can be easily identified. Those effectors are a class of proteins which will going to identify the pathogen very effectively. These R gene products are having a broad control over the disease resistance. Such a way, if any kind of molecule will possess the antibacterial activity, antimicrobial activity, antifungal activity, that type of effectors are very crucial and very important. They are have much weightage than the other. So these are highly sufficient to stop further pathogen growth and spread. So they are very important. Coming to the other strategies. So how the R gene product and microbial AVR gene product getting involved in the hypersensitive response for disease resistance. So hypersensitivity is a common phenomenon observed in the plant system. They undergoes self-death. They are called programmed cell death, apoptosis. Due to this reason, spread of the disease can be easily controlled by an event called hypersensitive response. Plant genes are called R genes, their product are there, they are called as a receptors. AVR genes are called pathogen associated gene product. Their AVR proteins are easily identified by the R proteins. Now there is an interaction. When R gene and AVR gene protein interaction takes place, finally this complex is going to induce the HR response called. The R genes present in the plant are the resistant genes. They are crucial role players. They are going to identify the AVR gene product of the pathogen. If AVR gene product and R gene get complex with each other, that forms an interaction. Now this complex going to induce the hypersensitive response. In hypersensitive response, plants undergoes self-suicide due to infection. Such a way, they are going to restricting the pathogen spread. Coming to next level, this gene activity, whether they are helping or not helping, this type of gene activity can be modified by means of genome editing, like a single resistance. Most of the non-functional genes are replaced with functional PRS genes. Now finally that kind of variety can be protected from the diseases. There is two examples. For example, at the left side there is a plant. A plant is non-functional R gene is there, that is a red in color. Coming to this red color gene was replaced with a yellow colored functional gene. Now after genome editing, by single resistant gene loci, now plant is become more resistant. This type of activity is called transgenic resistance. So resistance can be transferred from one plant to another plant. R gene encodes a variety of proteins for the purpose of detection of pathogens. These pathogens going to be identified, and R genes have been used in the resistance for breeding programs for decades in order to develop different types of seed varieties. Recent molecular research on R gene proteins have given a clear picture of downstream signal transduction and network involved in the effective genetic resistance and R gene development for the disease control. So now R gene and their proteins and their molecular patterns can be understand. Now we are going to creating genetically modified organisms towards genetic resistance, like disease resistance, insect resistance, pest resistance. Coming to numerous signal transduction components present in the defense network have been identified, and several are being exploited as switches for by which resistance can be activated against diverse pathogens. So AVR genes and R gene complexes can be one of the most example. Coming to AVR gene, for example, there is a pink colored AVR gene in a bacteria. in spite of many, these AVR genes are effectively recognized by R gene product present in the plant system called so many operands are there. TIR operand, NBS operand, LLR operand, these all are concentrated about R gene families. Now these family genes are now going to identify the R gene. Now activated R gene going to identify the AVR gene. Now they are going to induce the hypersensitive response. Finally, we can imagine the disease resistance. So disease resistance can be a pyramiding factor, adding advantage over the other systems. So if R genes are more expressed, that is leads to overexpression of the R gene product, that is also contributing to disease resistance, and induction of constitutive R genes. Constitutive R genes means these R genes are expressing all the time. Such a way a plant can be expressing more resistance since from seedling stage to flowering stage and until the death of the plant. And induction of silencing, gene silencing. If genes are getting silenced, some of the events leads to more damage. But if particular gene like pathogen required protein silencing, that leads to nutrient limitation. In nutrient limitation condition, pathogen is no more surviving. And triggered genome modification. For targeted genome modification, we can also targeting the genes to modify the plant system to create a genetically modified plant system. Coming to the other strategies, what are the most important strategy? Even in the changed environment, abiotic stress is going to be increasing. Abiotic stress is going to control the cold, inducing the cold and drought, heat, salinity and wounding. These are some of the damages imposed by abiotic stress. However, all types of damages can accumulate the reactive oxygen species more and more. Due to reactive oxygen species, we are experiencing different kinds of fluctuations and networking system in the plant proteomes. So, calcium accumulation takes place and other gene products can be accumulated more and more. So finally, the reactive oxygen species is the triggered molecule will going to control the oxygen gene production and abscisic acid production and salicylic acid accumulation and glutamic acid accumulation and geosmonic acid and ethylene. These all are very essential. So finally what happens, either salicylic acid and ethylene are going to accumulated more and more, that regulating the pathogen related gene expression. Now if pathogen related genes are expressed more and more, that type of plant is resistant to biotic as well as the abiotic stresses. So that means environment is also sometimes benefiting the plant by imposing the drought and other unusual conditions. But one of the most important thing is that reactive oxygen species and their related downstream regulation and network and balancing of conversion of jasmonic acid into ethylene also one of the most important signal transduction molecule in the plant system. Or either it going to directly activating the salicylic acid. Salicylic acid is one of the most important resistant inducer, systemic acquired resistance inducer. So now we can experience the systemic acquired resistance, local resistance and followed by systemic resistance. Now salicylic acid is diffusing throughout the plant. Some of the amount can be volatile. Jasmonic acid going to be volatile. That is also triggering the and provoking the nearby neighbor plants, like that. So many advantages are there by inducing the abiotic stress in the plant system. Finally, these genes responsible for induction of PR proteins can be now identified and they are incorporated into the particular plasmid, and we are creating genome edited crops towards disease resistance and abiotic resistance. Coming to many R gene, either a single gene or multiple gene, they may be involved in completing more or less particular to pathogen. That means these R gene products are effective against a single pathogen, sometimes multiple pathogens. If R gene have been used in conventional resistance breeding program for decades, this is the reason why there is a much demand for R gene products. So R gene activation is most important. Their products are antifungal, antibacterial in nature. So there is a strong phenotypes and natural variability of R loci. R gene have been exploited for molecular genetics to clone the R genes for creating genetically modified organisms. And R gene mediated resistance has been studied. There are several attractive features for disease control. There are so many genes are there. What are the PRPS2 in Arabidopsis, which will going to synthesize in AVRP gene, that is active against Pseudomonas syringae, and pathovar tomato. So like that, these genes can be identified. RPM1 in Arabidopsis against the same pathogen, Pseudomonas syringae, and PRF. This PRF is also identifying the Pseudomonas syringae in tomato species. N, PR gene is N, tobacco plant. This is going to identify the tobacco mosaic virus. So like that, so many genes are there. Their gene products are very important. Now more than 600 variety of gene products have been identified. These genes are being used for development of disease resistance. There are so many hypotheses and concepts regarding the specific and special level of resistance. Whether the resistance developed after these organisms, whether that is transient or over a period of time. That means for other reasons, the effective plant immunity can be included lack of co-adaptation. That means both are changing. Pathogen is changing and host is changing. Such a way how these systems are going to be affecting with each other. That particularly preformed defense mechanism. Preformed defense mechanism will give you a common rejection about invading pathogens. Such a way, we have so many measures. What are the measures to identify the resistance? First one is called quantitative resistance. The quantitative resistance is defined as the resistance that varies in a continuous way between various types of host population. That means almost imperceptible. Only a slight reduction in the plant growth of the pathogen, which is quite strong, little growth of the pathogen can be recognized. It should be quantitative in nature, but we are unable to measure them. So this type of resistance is indicated with the other terms such as partially or residual and field resistance, even wrongly with the tolerance. That means this is called partial type of resistance. That means quantitative in nature means either present or absent can be assumed. Coming to durable resistance. Everybody is looking for the durable type of resistance. That means it is considerable as a durable. It remains effective for over a period of time despite a wide exposure of different types of pathogens. It is possible to overcome from the disease of 3 more groups predominantly occurring on the same type of plant. Such a way it is more advantageous than the previous one. So based on that, quantitative resistance against specialist and based on some other several genes with the additive effect can be seems to be durable. That means not only single gene, many genes have been contributing to this type of durable resistance. And another more important thing is that it is durable for over a time period. Such a way farmer can be benefited by this system. Resistance to pathogen with a wide host range. Non-durable resistance, it is a most common phenomenon between the attracting parasites and defending hosts. It is an evolutionary process because all resistance is a transitory in nature. So that leads to non-durable resistance. But resistance is acquired in the plant but cannot be memorized. Due to that reason, it is lost. But in large difference exists in the ease by which a parasite can overcome the resistance. In agriculture, too, durability of a resistant variety is greatly contributing to the disease resistance. Finally, the resistance may already be neutralized in the last stage of breeding programs at 0 years and still be effective after more than 100 years, and a wide exposure as a case of phylloxera and aphid resistance in grape vines. So this is one kind of phenomenon where changing of resistance is going to be transient in nature, not a permanent one. Sometimes it is changing, sometimes it is durable. In some occasions it is not durable in nature. So coming to most important thing, acquired resistance, that is the most important thing. Acquired resistance plays a major role. That means due to preformed barriers. What are the preformed barriers? That anatomical and structural barriers already existing on the plant system, they are contributing some degree of resistance. But even though the pathogens are highly sufficient to breach, to penetrate the hard structures, they are going to establish inside the tissues. But after entry into the inside the tissues, the acquired resistance will contributing more and more. Some susceptible plants become systematically resistant after infection by localized signals, by local infection. This phenomenon is known as acquired resistance. That means single site infection is enough to immunize the entire plant and neighbor plants, entire field also. Such kind of activity is called acquired resistance. This is the best known and resistance exhibited in the cocoa beans and tomato. When a lower leaf is infected, the whole plant becomes resistant to same type of pathogen for weeks. That is the added advantage. Plants with acquired resistance have high level of pathogen related gene and their product proteins and high amount of salicylic acid and peroxidase enzymes and chitinases, glucanases. This has been observed by Scheffer in 1997. So according to his observations, those plants which are possessing high degree of acquired resistance, they also contains high levels of R gene products, PR gene products, salicylic acid and peroxidases and other factors also there. So there is a significant improvement by this mechanism. If you are understanding the signal mechanism that carries the information from outside the plant part to inside the plant part, that will give you a complete signal transduction. But we are unaware about these signal transduction systems, how they are better modulated in the inside the host. We have to study. So other disease control strategies. If you are understanding these interactions, pathogen associated molecular pattern, pathogen triggered immunity and elicitor triggered immunity, R gene activation and R gene product diversity, their products, this will also directly contributing to plant diseases. So plant diseases can be easily understood and we can also understand the quantitative resistance in some plants. It is not a sufficient one, but how to convert the qualitative into quantitative one. That means in quantitative resistance, one gene or many genes are contributing to the resistance in a durable way, in a measurable way. Such a way, understanding of the disease control strategy is very important. And sometimes even where resistance is primary means by controlling diseases, some diseases can be avoided by growing crops in the region that are not conducive to disease development. For example, many vegetable crops growing for seed are produced in arid regions in western US and other India also. Why? Where low rainfall and lack of external leaf wetness is necessary for infection inhibitors and foliar and loving seed pathogens also. That means in arid environment, India almost all conditions is arid condition. There is a heavy drought, there is heavy abiotic stress. So in those conditions, if you are developing the seeds and technologies, they are having added advantage. So plant pathogens may be excluded during a growing season by using pathogen-free seed propagation and heat treatment and meristem tip culturing. So these are some of the approaches to control the disease strategies. That means even in the infected plant, in the meristem region, there is no viral infection. So many steps are selected, they are allowed for the tissue culture, and now we can develop the a variety of plant systems. So without infection we can also develop the young plants. That is also one of the disease controlling strategy that we can use the system. Finally, what is the use of R-gene products for pathogen controlling? So as we discussed earlier, major gene resistance is primarily involved in either effect or triggered, whereas quantitative resistance is very basal defects triggered by PTI. Both are very important, PTI and ETI. Recognizing that there is a considerable overlap mechanism triggered by ETI and PTI, and under these conditions, strong directional selection, as in the case of major gene resistance, one or few adapted pathogen strains will predominate the gene population and pathogen population, that leading to severe epidemics. That means if pathogen is changing, pathogen molecules are changing, pathogen genes are changing according to environment, they become more virulent. For example, in case of oomycetes, most of the oomycetes are become more dangerous pathogens because they are readily adapting the environment. Coming to conclusions. So by this class we are going to conclude that understanding the molecular patterns and evolution of plants and pathogen is very important. That means how evolution, how the time is going to contributing, how the environment is contributing to changing the pathogen as well as the host, because both are existing in the environment since the last decades or centuries, but pathogens are changing themselves, hosts are changing themselves. How the environment, how the other molecular systems are going to be changing and adapting, these systems should be learned properly. And integration of the information for disease management is very important. What type of disease management strategies? Like a computer based disease prediction systems. Nowadays we are relying on the meteorological data. Based on the meteorological data, we are going to synthesize different types of concepts, EpiPIV or environmental factor related disease prediction systems. So integration of information is very important. And finally, if you are understanding environment and environmental factors, pathogen associated molecular patterns and genes, their expression, and changing of the pathogen from avirulent to highly virulent, at the same time host, changing of the host from susceptible host to resistant host, how these two are fighting with each other in the environment. So these processes are very important to understand. For what purpose? Sustainable crop production. So sustainable crop production is a strategy without harming the environment, without harming the plant, we can increase the crop yield more and more. The function of few pathogens effectors are unknown. If they are known very well, they serve as a model system. Such a way, what is the previous work we have conducted on Solanaceae members or Brassicaceae family members and other systems are very important. They will give you a model to study. Next, the PTI and ETI, pathogen triggered immunity and effector triggered immunity, will enable us to know more about the manipulation, better manipulation of the genes and their products in susceptible variety. So finally, susceptible variety also becoming resistant to disease. Why? One single gene getting mutated, that plant becomes a diseased plant. If the mutated gene can be edited or triggered perfectly, that may be getting activated. Now the plant may shows the resistance. Such type of manipulations, either conventional manipulation, physical manipulation, either by genetic modification, these manipulations are very important for better disease control. The relevance of epigenetic controls is very important. Epigenetic controls means environmental factors are going to controlling the variety of molecules inside the cell, including all chromosomes. But in diseased condition, how plant is responding to environment and pathogen, what are the gene products are how they are better interacting with each other. If you are understanding these molecules in a meaningful manner, we can develop new avenues, new possibilities. We can create wonders. So, which requires a multidisciplinary approach to understand this system. We require plant genetics, plant biochemistry, plant molecular biology, and molecular biological systems and signal transduction, and environmental biology also sometimes, and even also metrology in order to understand the environment. Thank you very much for your attention. Have a nice day.